Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our special webinar, Connecting Youth with Nature's Wonder. We're so grateful that you all decided to join us here today at the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum on Give to the Max Day, Minnesota's annual Giving Day, where we all come together to support nonprofit organizations that are close to our heart. My name is Rahi Patel, and I work on the Arboretum's development team, and it is my pleasure to facilitate today's webinar. We're also joined by Larissa Lenartson, who is also a member of our development team, and Larissa will be monitoring our comment section and Q&A today. So I will quickly go over our agenda today before passing it off to our featured speaker, Malia Brandt, who will provide impactful insights on the educational programs that we have here at the Arboretum and how they connect thousands of youth and their families to nature's wonder. We will have a Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. So throughout the webinar, please feel free to use the Q&A feature to ask any questions that you might have, and we'll be sure to ask Malia those questions at the end of the webinar. And then at the very end, we'll also have a quick update about the Arboretum's Give to the Max Day campaign. During this webinar, microphones will be muted, but please let us know through the Q&A feature if you're experiencing any technical difficulties, and we'll be sure to do our best to help you. And the presentation will also be recorded and shared with all registrants after the webinar is concluded. Now, with that, I'm honored to introduce Malia Brandt, who is our Youth Education Manager for our school and family programs. Malia has been at the Arboretum for 8 years. And Malia, thank you so much for joining us today to share your expertise and insights on all of our wonderful educational programs. Malia, I'll pass it over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for welcoming me to speak about youth education in an event like this. Greetings to all those who are out there watching. Thank you so much for being here. I know I won't be able to see you, which is very different from the way that I'm used to educating, but I'm curious to know who's out there, even though I can't see your faces, and get a better sense for who's in the audience today. So we're going to start with a little poll. And I'm going to put up this poll on your screen. And if you feel so inclined, there are 2 questions in the poll, and one is about kind of your connection to the Arboretum. Are you a long-term, have you been connected to the Arb long-term? Are you newer to the Arb? Are you a member? Are you a volunteer? So I can just get a sense for those folks out there. And then if you scroll down on your screen to question 2, we'll get there, then that helps me to know what you already know about youth education at the Arb. Are you someone who has had, participants in the programs and know a lot about the programs, or are you coming to learn maybe for the very first time about the programs that we do? So I'm going to launch that poll here. Potentially. Oh, I don't see that feature on my screen right now. Let's see. Right, I am not able to see the poll feature. I don't have a bar at the bottom of my screen at this moment. Are you able to launch that poll? There we go. Okay, super. So again, 2 questions. Oh, it's multiple choice, so you can select more than one answer if more than one applies to you. So we'll give everyone a minute just to enter in to that poll and see who's here today. What brings you here today? Results coming in. I'll be able to share those with you in just a minute here. Looks good. All right. Looks like we have most people in here. So I'm going to end the poll and we can see who we've got and share our results here. So we have, nobody's new to the ARB, at least not here today. Members, volunteers, super fans, people who love nature, love education, not too many wondering what it's about, and people who know a little bit, mostly about youth ed, and are excited to learn more. So that's great. That really helps me just to connect to those of you who are out there at the moment. I'm going to stop sharing there and close that up. All right. See if I can advance to the next slide. We're working out a few technology things here. Thank you for your patience. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So welcome to one and all. Whether you, oops, hang on, we're not quite there yet. There we go. Today, I get the pleasure of introducing you to the wide variety of programs offered by Arboretum Youth Education. So unless you have children who've participated in the programs or grandchildren or are a volunteer with our programs, it's maybe something that you haven't seen. So as just a visitor to the ARB on a regular basis. So I'm always excited when I get to kind of shine the spotlight on some of the ways that you might not know about that allow us to share the joy of nature and the fun and the awe that we bring to our programs that you might not have heard about before. So, and just keep in mind that none of the programs that we do would be possible without those ARB superfans and members and volunteers who through their support of the Arboretum, then in turn support us too. Let's see, before we jump into all the different programs, I do want to know a little bit more too about you and your formational experiences, maybe as connecting yourself to nature. So in a few words, if you would share in the chat a formative experience, perhaps, that you had in childhood that connected you to the wonder of the natural world in some way. Because most often our connections do start in childhood, and I'm trying to put us a little bit in our see our programming through the childlike lens. And so if I were putting my sentence or phrase in the chat, I might put in imaginative play outdoors with my best friend, or maybe you would put gardening with grandpa or something like that. So yeah, if you would add your story to the chat or your phrase or sentence about something that as a child maybe helped you connect to nature. So someone's coming in from summer camps, love that, gardening, yeah, other things in there that maybe connected you to nature. Like for me, of course, it was my best friend lived next door, and we played outside all the time, and we're able to share our love of, or develop that love of just being outdoors together in that way. Even if you didn't share it in the chat, just kind of be thinking of that as we talk together, so we can tap into those childlike selves as we share more. I first want to share our department's guiding principles with you to get a sense of the foundation that we build our work upon. So on this slide here, you can see that our work is all based on connecting young people to plants and the planet through scientific exploration. And our core values, the way we do this, we strive to meet young learners where they are, using hands-on scientific inquiry to engage curiosity and grow interest into understanding. We're guided by standards and best practices that cultivate awe and wonder. So I know that's kind of a lot of words, and we're going to get to see the ways that we do that as we talk about our programs. We can divide our year up as we do with our gardens that change throughout the seasons. Our programming changes throughout the season. So we divide kind of our year up into school year programming, of course, September through May, and our summer programs. And those offerings are very different from each other. And not all of our programs kind of fit into this box, but most of them do. So we'll start with school year programming. The most visible program that we offer here at the Arboretum, of course, are our field trip programs. So if you spend time at the Arboretum during the week, perhaps you've seen the school buses full of young children making their way to the Learning Center or to the Apple House. So kind of our little blurb here, science standards-based hands-on school programs presented by ARB staff and volunteers that use plants and nature as inspiration. I wanted to lift up just a couple words in that slide, and the first one is volunteers. So in our field trip programs, we have volunteers who work side by side with us on program delivery, and we could not actually do our programs without volunteers. So we are so thankful and grateful for those people, and put a little plug in for the fact that we often use volunteers in youth education and are always looking for people who are excited about sharing their love of nature with students. The second one that I wanted to raise was that the first word, science standards based. And all of our programming, but especially our field trip programs, are based on the science standards, that Minnesota science standards that teachers are needing to meet within the classroom learning environment. So when teachers come to the website to book their programs, which is often how they start the registration process, they can see the science standards that are met by each program, because we want to support the learning that the students are already doing in their classrooms, and we want to support teachers in being able to meet their goals. So teachers are really appreciative of the fact that our programs are science standards based, so that they know they're really enhancing the work that they do together. Speaking of our website, one of the first things that they will see on our website too is a field trip overview video. And I wanted to share that video with you so you could see kind of what the teachers see as some of our offerings as they look to find the program that fits best for them. And our next slide here, let's see if I can get that going. There we go, is a listing of the field trip programs that we're offering this year. These are in seasonal order. So we've just finished up with our apple harvest and fall in the forest and pumpkins life field trips, and are moving on through our green grocery field trip, which connects kids to the fact that all food goes back to plants in some ways, as we talk about food chains and energy stories. So as you can see in the video, our field trips are all about doing. And sometimes plants are kind of those unsung heroes in the outdoor world. And in our programs, we're so lucky to have the privilege of introducing kids to them every day. Next up is our Plantmobile program, which are an accompaniment to our field trip programs. We also bring Arboretum programming into schools with the Plantmobile program. These are 1-hour experiences with an educator who brings a myriad of supplies, a big cart full of supplies and activities right into classrooms of preschool through second graders specifically. We have 5 programs that we are offering here. So again, in seasonal order, we just finished up our Buzz About Apples program and are moving into our Bulbs and Blossoms, as it is the time to plant bulbs outside programming. But I wanted to, we strive to teach students, but we also want to be examples for teachers of fun ways to engage students in science, and are thrilled both in our field trips and our Plantmobiles when teachers and chaperones say that they learned something too. So today I wanted to share a little bit of the awe and wonder that we bring into a classroom by highlighting one of our programs, the Exploring the Desert program, which will kind of give you a sense of the way that we structure not only this program, but all the programs. One of our guiding principles was that we meet students where they are. And to do that, we often find something that kids can connect to right away. Sometimes it's the food that we eat, as I was mentioning in green grocery. But in this picture, I want you to notice the photo on the left-hand side with the person in the sunglasses there. So in this program, Exploring the Desert, we first meet kids where they are by just talking about how you might dress if you were going into the desert. So we have them brainstorm ideas for what you might wear to keep yourself comfortable in the desert along the way. So of course, she's wearing light colored clothes and a hat, sunglasses. She's got her water bottle. And then I know you can't quite see tucked in her pocket there, she's got some sunscreen and chapstick along the way. And then we take that knowledge. So we've taken the ideas that the kids have generated, and then we start making those plant connections. So while we need these things to be comfortable in the desert, plants who live in the desert also need those things to be comfortable, but those things are built already into the bodies of the plant organisms. And as they think about those pieces, then they're learning about adaptations. We are using that word, but again, we're introducing some kind of complicated content with really accessible ways to view that. So let's say our first, I think you can see behind me a little cactus puppet on my shelf back there. So we have a couple of them. And so the cactus puppet is introducing the 2 rules that plants need to follow in the desert, which is to save the water and protect the water. So they've learned a little bit about deserts. We've compared how much water is in the soil of the desert, or how often it rains and how much precipitation we get in Minnesota. And we're, talking about the structure of plants in Minnesota as well. So then we start by bringing out these desert plants. And if you can imagine of a plant with a thick trunk, a ponytail palm is our first one. And we kind of say, okay, now this student needed this water bottle to make sure that she had enough water to drink. How do you think this plant saves the water? How do they follow that first rule? And we look at the big trunk and decide that there's probably water inside this trunk. So plants are saving the water inside. And then we move to another plant and we're looking for kind of, quote, the water bottle in each plant and where they might be stored. I have a couple examples here. So I we bring in this plant here, which is a jade plant. And we're looking then at leaves, comparing leaves of Minnesota trees, which are, if you took them off the tree and squeezed them, you wouldn't get water out. But we look at this plant and ask the students to predict where this plant's water bottle is. So it doesn't have a big trunk like maybe the last one we saw, but eventually someone comes to, oh, maybe there's water in the leaves of this plant. So then we very gently, pick off one of the leaves and we break it open. I'm going to have my little cup here. and we break it open and we squeeze the leaf and we notice that there is water in there and we see it dripping and it's very dramatic and the kids are cheering and counting the drops of me with me. And so often we get like maybe 60 or 70 drops of water in one leaf, which is quite amazing. And then if you add all those drops up and imagine how much water might be stored in the whole plant, it's just another way to take that adaptation and make it real for them. Another type of plant, desert plant that we bring in, of course, are the cactuses. And it's a very exciting day when we get to learn how to touch cacti safely. But one of the other adaptations we talk about is this white hair. And so, then we go back again to our person who dressed up at the beginning, and we've talked about why wearing light colored clothing is really important to staying cool in the desert. And this cactus also has light colored clothing on to help reflect the sunshine back. And we talk about that as well. And then of course the thorns on it that protect the water that's inside. So again, we start with something that they know, maybe how to dress themselves, and then take it to plants and share the connections in that way. After we do that and we've learned some of those adaptations, then we spread plants around their classroom. So we bring 15 or 18 plants to their classroom, and then they go on a little scavenger hunt to discover the adaptations that each plant has, or see if they can figure out those adaptations. And after we do that, as you can see in the middle photo here, we do a planting project. And in almost all of our field trip and Plantmobile programs, do students go home with plants. Now, we go to all different communities and all different places, and many different types of schools visit us too. And for some students, the planting project that they do in our programs is the very first time that they have put their hands in the soil. And so we really try to be mindful of that experience, and it's not pleasant for everyone, but we try as best we can to model our engagement and excitement around how the dirt feels and what it's like to smell it and experience it with our senses. So it's very exciting to be part of the first time that maybe someone has been able to do that. So then in this program, they're planting jade plants. And so we have a team behind the scenes, of course, of people who volunteers who work in our greenhouse to pot up 20 or propagate 2,000 jade plants for us to bring to schools in the winter. And the kids are so excited to not only then have a deep knowledge of the plant, which we have cultivated by, looking at the leaves and all the adaptations. Now they get their own to take home with them. So it's a very exciting time. Let's see our next slide here. We have a new initiative that I wanted to share with you. I think every time I take a pause, it takes a minute for me to get back in to change up our screen. There we go. So last year we were able to pilot a program with Hennepin County Head Start, as well as developing a program with St. Paul Public Schools for their early childhood programs. So it's, of course, a new initiative for us, serving our youngest learners. And engaging preschoolers with plants is, of course, a natural fit, but definitely requires new ways of getting the ideas and concepts across, even than you might do in a second grade classroom. So we do it, though. And if you don't think you could teach preschoolers about apple breeding, I challenge you to come to one of our sessions where the kids are all pretending to be trees in the orchard, and they've got their little apples right here, and I come around and I pick an apple from them, and oh no, this isn't this apple is too sour, and then we have to chop the tree down and find another one that we're looking for until we find just the right one. So again, complicated concepts that just start to plant the seeds of understanding through the playful ways that we do it. We move, we dance, we sing, we explore, and it's kind of magical. So I just wanted to put this quote up here as one of the St. Paul teachers. We really try to make our programs developmentally appropriate for the students that we're serving, and found that we were able to do that well, and we are expanding our partnership then to both of those schools again this year, and even further with more sites as well. We offer teacher surveys for every program that we do. And so if you're a numbers person, you can see some of our survey results here. So this was survey results from the 2022-23 school year. So we know if, we're meeting the needs of students and their teachers, of course, who are the ones booking the experiences for them. So you can see here a little bit about some things that we value and things we want to know that we are either needing to keep doing or are improving as we go. Of course, we also offer the ability for teachers to share specific ideas and content and quotes. So it really helps us to modify our programming and make sure we're meeting the needs of all of our learners and their instructors. May we never have to return to educating in a pandemic, but we still have one of our pandemic projects hanging on. During the pandemic, we weren't able to go into schools. Schools weren't able to come to us. So we developed what we called Field Trip in a Box, and which are complete field trips mailed right to schools. And we still actually have classrooms who have find it a good fit for them. These boxes then can serve greater Minnesota for schools who aren't able to come to us, or it's too far for us to go to them. Sometimes after school groups enjoy these boxes where they're not meeting at times that they can enjoy Arboretum programming. But these kits are supported with videos that we put together with lessons on demand, and then we fill the kit with all the supplies that they need to do the activities with their teacher in the classroom. I don't know if you can kind of make out a little baggie of soil on the right-hand side, and we served a lot of students and packed up individual bags of soil for each student, because sometimes students were learning at home. So then teachers would distribute the materials and they could do the activities even at home. We offer big bags of soil now, so we're not individually packing them all, but still are able to share that. We have just a quick clip of one of the videos that from one of our Field Trip in a Box kits around it's a bulb's life. And so just so you have a little sense of what that might be like, what the video instruction looks like. Don't see it on my end, Rahi. Are we working on pulling up the field? Oh, there it is. Here it is. Okay,
We're
perfect.
really interested in what happens with those plants. Today, we're going to be learning even more about a special family of plants that prepares for winter in a really unique way.
So sunshine, water, and air all mix together in those leaves, and they make that special plant food to feed the plant and help it grow big and strong. So there's a whole plant inside this bulb just waiting to grow for the right time. Here's our second layer, and if I'm really careful and I take this apart, look what I found! Another baby bulb. There's another one right in here.
What's the name of the bulb that we're going to plant together today? It's called a paperwhite bulb. Aren't these flowers pretty?
So I'm going to put my bulb right in my pot, and then I'm going to fill my pot the rest of the way with some more soil.
We're going to plant marigold seeds called lemon gem. They have these nice, bright yellow flowers.
You might as well plant them all, right? So now I've got all my marigold seeds planted.
And scientists, your job will be to race your paperwhite bulb to your marigold seeds and see which one flowers first. Make sure to have them in a sunny spot, and a sunny window will do, inside, and make sure to check them every day for water. Now, scientists, you'll also want to make sure
Super, just a little clip there. There we go. Excellent. So again, we still offer 3 of them. We had more offerings at the time we developed it, but now we're hanging on to 3 of them that help to support students wherever they are. Right. Next. slide. Oops, hang on a second. There we go. It's a little touchy. There we go. All of the programs that we've just talked about too have scholarships that are associated with them. So we don't think that it should just be the privileged students and schools who are able to access our programming. But the scholarships that we offer make it possible for schools with lower income population or large populations of those lower income families to join in on the ARB experience. So again, the Arboretum supports the scholarships, and your support of the Arboretum in turn supports those scholarships as well. So we can share plant love and knowledge with a wider variety of audiences. If you're a numbers person, here's your numbers slide that again is a culmination of our 2022-23 school year. So last year we served around 30,000 students in our school programmings, including field trips, plant mobiles, field trip in a box. We also have some homeschool days where homeschoolers come, scholarships on the right-hand side, as well as that partnership that I mentioned with St. Paul and Hennepin County Head Start. Okay, switching gears, we get to move into summer now. So as much as we love and are excited about our school year programs, summer programs offer the flexibility to have a longer time to engage with students. So we kind of talk about it in education, a continuum of learning, where there are times when we have just a quick experience with somebody, maybe in a 1-hour plant mobile program. But our summers are the times that we can go further along that continuum and dive into fuller experiences where we get to develop relationships with the kids over time in the time that we're able to see them. And so I want to share a little more about all the variety of summer programming that we offer. The first one, which is the one I'm most closely aligned with, are summer day camps. And when I came to the Arboretum, it was kind of a task of mine to reinvigorate the day camp program. At that time, we had camps were offered, but often they would get canceled because of low enrollment. And when I was kind of thinking about my own experience registering my kids for camp and looking, at the process for doing that, we always picked like what I call an anchor camp, where I would pick the kids or the kids would pick their most favorite camp, and we'd kind of build our summer around that. So I know it's the experience of many families with working parents that you have a spreadsheet for the summer and put it all down and try to make put the puzzle work, but you have to start somewhere. And so having an anchor camp to be that first handle was a goal that I thought we could potentially achieve, or I had hopes that we could become the first place that parents would look for developing their plans for the summer, so that their kids would want to come here, and then they could build their summer around that. So how did we approach doing that? Next slide is taking a second. Sorry about that. There we go. How did we approach the task? In order to facilitate our growth, we needed to meet kids where they were. That's part of our mission and our guiding principles. So many of us, like we discovered in the chat, and if you thought about it, can trace our love of the outdoors back to that time that you spent outside as kids. And we all know that the amount of time that young people, arguably older people as well, spend outdoors today keeps shrinking. And so this makes our work of kind of selling outdoor experiences to kids a little bit more challenging in ways that it hasn't been maybe in the past. Some kids already know they love nature. That has been a value for their families and something that they've done since they were little. And we've always attracted those nature kids and families to our programs, and we'll continue to do that. But other kids need a little encouragement. And so I think in the past, our mindset was kind of telling families that they should sign their kids up for camp because it was good for them, which of course it is good for them. But we wanted to intentionally kind of put the fun first. sign your child up because they'll have fun. And then the child is the one who drives the wanting to come back again in future years. And to do that, we start with familiar themes. So I have a little Lego block there. So maybe Legos or Harry Potter. We have a camp that's kind of based around a video game that we then take the aspects of the video game and do them outdoors. And so once they get here, though, we still do nature and science camps, even if we don't tell them that. But at the ARB, Lego camp is nature camp, and art camp is nature camp, and superhero camp is nature camp. So we bring kids in with the theme and create fun experiences around, maybe sneaking in those science concepts along the way. Pair that up with having a positive experience with a caring instructor and cool teenagers. We'll talk about the counselor and training program. And then soon enough, every kid becomes a nature kid. And once kids think about themselves in that way, that they have a connection to nature, then they continue to seek out those experiences and come back year after year and hopefully seek them out in other areas of their life too, because now they're curious and they want to learn about and care for our planet. It's not just meeting kids, though, where they are. We also switched the program up to meet families where they were. So offering full day camps. We hadn't done that in the past, and with extended hours to meet the needs of working families. So how did it go? In this graph, it's not just about registrations, but again, that anchor camp experience. So this is the number of registrations on opening day of camp. I just think it's such a fun way to look at it. So I think in 2016, on the very first day camps opened, 11 people signed up. But, last year we had over 700 registrations just on the first day, which in essence means that we sell out our camps in day 1 or 2. And I think the most frustrating thing now for people is that we just don't have the capacity to offer enough spaces for everybody. We had over 500 people on our waiting list in various camps in their forms last year. So this year we're expanding a little capacity to help alleviate that problem as best we can. So here's a little update on what we're going to do in camp this summer. We'll have over 800 campers, 50 camp sessions, half and full day camps. We'll talk about the CIT program in just a second. Often it's a 4-ring circus with 4 different things happening at the same time. And last year we were excited to be able to offer some camp scholarships through a partnership with Carver County. And then just a little collage of some photos of some of those experiences. So whether it's investigating a beehive, playing in the mud, cooking fresh garden veggies, or holding snakes brought by our visiting reptile instructor, we've got a lot planned and are looking forward to the offerings that we have every summer. All right, counselor and training program. I want to introduce you to a couple of people in this photo here. So on the left-hand side of the screen in the green shirt is the same person on the right-hand side of the screen in the blue vest, and his name is Denley. We started our counselor and training program 7 years ago, and he was we started with three counselors in training. And he was one of our original ones. So he worked with our camps for 5 years. So he just graduated from high school last year. He's in college now. And next to him in the picture on the right is John. And when Denley was a CITs are between 12 and 15 years old, and they kind of provide that bridge between childhood and adulthood, because kids, love teenagers and look up to them. And so we can really use their help. And John was a camper when Denley was a CIT, and they were reminiscing on Denley's, last day about, John could remember exactly in the woods where they were when they built their fort and exactly the things that they did together. So how lucky we are to provide those formative experiences, not only for younger children, but then for teenagers as well. One of my staff members was working in the garden behind the learning center, and 2 older teens kind of came through and passed the under the oak play area and overheard one say to the other, "This place is literally my childhood." And again, how lucky we are to provide that place that now older teens look back on and are able to see themselves as younger people, and the formative ways that the Arboretum has shaped their lives as well. Our counselor in training program does provide opportunities for youth mentors to increase their leadership skills and share their knowledge and passion and enthusiasm. So they go through a whole process for interviewing, and we treat it like a little bit of a job, and they get feedback throughout the summer as they volunteer with us. Peapods. Our Peapods preschool program has been around a long time. We've done a little revamping and moved more of our activities outside to just foster that nature connection in new ways. This is a program where young people ages 3 to 5 come with their adults, so it's not a drop-off program. And in many cases, it's grandparents. Not always, but young people come with their caring adults. And it's just a great time to foster not only connections to nature, but intergenerational connections to each other. So there's planting and art and science and actions and story time and music. And those adventures take place inside the Learning Center and outside on the grounds in the play yard, the children's garden, and the Learning Center greenhouse. Peapods is another place where we use volunteers to help. So you can see one of our volunteers on the left setting up one of the activities where they're painting with vegetables. But whether it's harvesting from the garden on that day or discovering monarch caterpillars, as the person in the middle on our zinnias in the beautiful garden behind the Learning Center. Fun is had by all. I think one of the great things about Peapods is, and kind of training that we do too with the caregivers who come, is that we set up these experiences, but we really allow the child to explore in their own time. So there's not really set times for each activities. And sometimes a child goes to one activity and does that activity for 20 or 30 minutes of their time. And that's just what they need in that moment. And that helps to really foster concentration. And again, that deeper connection that's needed to plant the seeds for a future of love of the outdoors. A new offering that we had last year, so this was our second summer of offering Green Bean Family Time, which happened on Saturdays during the summer, not every Saturday, kind of like every other Saturday during the growing season, for more families to be able to access their programming who wouldn't be able to do that during the week. So again, caregivers are coming with their children. We have a kind of a wider age range so that whole families can join together and doing whatever needed to be done in the garden that week. Sometimes it was planting, sometimes it was harvesting, but always had extra art and science and discovery stations. So people went home pretty happy with their produce and the things that they picked. And I wanted to share this story if you hadn't seen this raised in any other areas of our publication, but the person on the right in the blue shirt, his name is John, and he came to our Green Bean Family Garden Time program this summer and shared a photo of him in the children's garden when he was one of the very first children's gardeners. So now we're bringing people back who have already had experience with our programs as kids, and now he's here with his own kids. And what a special story that we can share, again, this love of this place with generations past and generations to come. So all the things we've talked about so far are things that happen on site during the summer at the Arboretum, but we don't want to keep all that to ourselves. So we have outreach programs as well, and we call our outreach summer programs Growing Good. Also, some of them go into the fall, so I shouldn't just say that it's a summer program. But these programs then provide young people of all ages with valuable leadership experience, hands-on urban gardening with partner organizations. So we partner up with organizations who already have the students coming or teenagers coming to their program. So it might be an after-school program, or during the summer, a child care program. So it might be a faith-based organization, or we have a couple different partners. And we then bring the supplemental programming to kind of enrich the programs that they are already doing together by some of the programs that I'll highlight here. So the first one is the Children's Garden in Residence program. So this year we had 247 participants. And so these programs all take place in either Minneapolis or St. Paul. So we had 4 partner sites. We also had 9 garden sites, including those 4 partner sites, but around the city that help support growing urban gardening in other ways. And those partners, again, are the ones that have the access to the people, and then we bring in the programming. Some of those kids were also able to visit the ARB this year, and the Children's Garden in Residence curriculum was developed in partnership with the Master Gardener program. So Master Gardeners can be trained in the curriculum and delivering the curriculum. And that curriculum then can be taken throughout the state and is taken throughout the state. So they come to do a training together, take their learning and the curriculum to wherever they would like to do it in partnership with other places around the state as well. And then we also offer then for our older students paid internships. It's really important that to just help create that we have our stake in the game too. These paid internships, we had 3 different experiences for people ages 12 to 18 plus who were able to engage with us through these paid internships this year. 12 of them were in a program called the Growing Good Produce Interns, where their focus was on growing food in those vegetable gardens that were around the city and on the sites where they grew their food or where they were kind of housed. But they also took field trips and did a lot of learning around not only the growth of food in the garden, but what to do with the produce once it's grown. So they had a hot sauce contest this year where they used some of those garden veggies to make different types of hot sauce of varying intensities. 5 of those 12 interns continued into the fall, where they continued programming with us this year. For the oldest students, we had 4 of them in a program called Ag and Aviation. And of those 2 of the interns earned their commercial flight test drone certification. We kind of kicked off the summer with a special program. I know you can't really see the photo on the bottom with the black and white picture. Bessie Coleman was the first African-American woman to get her pilot's license, and her great niece, Gigi, speaks about her life and connects people to aviation. And so we kind of started that with a jumping off point and had interns help us put together a program where she was able to come and speak and inspire others to explore aviation. And then we connected it to agriculture and how does aviation and agriculture fit together? There are so many ways that this technology is developing and able to play a big part in the future of agriculture. And then 2 of our students, the top 2, Janicia and Sajda, were our Growing to Lead interns, and they specifically helped with the Children's Garden in Residence program. So all in total, 2,160 total internship hours. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't share the accolades of all that we do with the whole team. So we had an education retreat this fall. So this photo is of adult educators here at the Arboretum, as well as youth educators, some people on our farm at the ARB team, some people who staff the bee center. But it really takes a lot of people from the wonderful folks that we have who take the reservations, who talk to teachers, who answer questions. It takes everyone to really put these programs together. So yes, we as educators can go into the classroom, but we are supported by so many people here, not only on the education team, but of course on the development team who are able to help us get funding to make these programs happen, all the way to the people who work on the grounds and help keep the Arboretum beautiful so that we have places to do the programming and all the way down to the custodial staff who sweep the glitter and clean up the cookies. And our building is heavily used by an assortment of children on the daily. So it is a group effort, and I just wanted to give a little shout out to all the support that we have as a team from everyone at the Arb. Okay, whew, that was a lot. I wonder if you have questions or things that you want to find out more about.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Malia, for that wonderful, insightful presentation. My heart is so full after hearing all of those stories and seeing the amazing, amazing experiences that families and children and youth and teenagers all have here and across the Twin Cities, thanks to your amazing work and the education team's amazing work. There are some questions that are coming in that I'm happy to share. So first question up here, what is the greatest need that you see in youth education?
I don't know if it's a need necessarily, but one of our challenges, I guess, right now is busing. Most people know that there's a school bus driver shortage. And so districts are really needing to condense their bus schedules. And you wouldn't think that would make a big difference, but it really does to us. And what that means for us is that schools are not able to arrive as early as they once did or stay as late as they once did. And so we have many of our, field trip slots that just schools aren't able to come because they can only come in that like one time in the middle of the day. So of course, those slots are the first ones to go. But so busing is a big challenge for us, I think, moving forward and trying to figure out how best to serve students in maybe new ways or places we hadn't thought about. So yeah, that's one.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Malia. Another question here, what has been the most rewarding program that you have had the opportunity to work on?
Well, because I'm so closely tied to camps, I'm going to go back to a camp, and I think I made reference to it, but so there's a video game called Minecraft. I don't know how many people might have some familiarity with that one, but at the Arboretum, we call our camp aligned with that program. We call it Pinecraft. And the thing that I'm so excited about this program, having developed it, is again, it's maybe reaching those reluctant campers whose first love is sitting behind their computers at home, but just don't know that they're able to take that love outside too. So we again start with that theme, and then families and kids are excited to bring that theme outside. So in the video game, there's you have to build a shelter, and you have to accomplish tasks, and you have to avoid wandering monsters. So we do all those things, we just do them outside. So how it's just a natural way to put that program together by building forts outside. And what's fun about it is not only the content, just getting them in, but once they're there, this is the opportunity for kids to have that imaginative playtime that they don't have the way that I did when I was younger. There's just not that time. And so many of the programs that kids are involved in is very adult directed. So in this program, we offer the framework, and then we let kids have the ability to play together and imagine together, and just immerse themselves in a way that they're able to take time to find the salamander under the log because they're accomplishing a quest along the way. We just give them the framework, and then we let them go from there. So I love that. That's one of my favorite camp programs, and one of our most popular ones too.
That's so fun. Whenever I hear you talk about these programs, Malia, I always get so jealous. I wish I could be 6 years old all over again and take part in them. They sound like so much fun.
Yeah, we've had requests for many adult camps from time to time. So we'll have to talk to our new adult ed
Just
person
take
and see what he's got.
take a day off work, join a camp. I think it would
For
be a huge
sure.
hit.
Yeah.
Okay, last question that I see coming in here is, what are you the most excited about when thinking about the future of educational programs at the Arboretum?
I think our early childhood program is what we're most excited about. We're in the middle of expanding our team to include an early childhood specialist. I just think if we put our time and attention on early childhood, it's going to explode in a way that, we just haven't been able to meet that need or sought out that audience before. But um, preschoolers have come here with their families, but I think there's a need for bringing our content then into the classrooms. I think I mentioned, I have a couple props here. What is not fun about bringing our little bee headbands to a classroom? So here's our apple blossom tree. And we give kids little straws, so these little coffee straws, and we then model going around, and the bees are drinking the nectar from the little branches that we put around. So again, harder concepts like maybe pollination, but by acting it out, by immersing themselves in some of the content, we're able to bring that love down a notch so that kids can start to really appreciate the complexities and joy and wonder of nature from a really, really early age. So I'm excited about our expansion in early childhood specifically.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Malia, and for this amazing presentation this morning. I'm so grateful for your time and insights and expertise. And thank you all so much again for joining today. Before we close things out, I just wanted to share a quick update about Give to the Max Day. Today, the Arboretum is joining nonprofit organizations all across Minnesota to raise critical funds to continue connecting thousands of people with nature every year, including all of the amazing programs that Malia just mentioned with us. If you haven't had an opportunity yet today, we would be so grateful if you would join us in making a donation today to the Arboretum for Give to the Max. You can make a donation today by scanning the QR code that you see on your screen, or by going to z.umn.edu/arbgive. We would be so grateful for your continued support to make sure that we can continue to offer all of these amazing programs. And again, thank you all so much for joining us this morning for this special webinar. It's been so wonderful connecting with you all, and I hope that you all have an amazing day. Thank you so much
Bye.
again, and we hope to connect with you again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.